Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So here it is, the Direnzo DRZ-03 vintage inspired diver. I've been thinking about getting the watch for quite a while, and lo and behold, after doing some searching online, it's here on this table. So let's do a quick unboxing of the watch and see how it actually holds up in person. And before we begin, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so by clicking the link below so that if any of my videos come up, you won't miss it. So let's get started. Alright, so right off the bat, let's take a look at the box together. It is a nice cardboard box, pretty nice and solid, with the company's logo on top. I would say it's pretty nicely done for a micro brand of this caliber. Not bad at all. The company has only been around for about 3 to 4 years, I would say. I think the Direnzo DRZ-01, which is their first model that came out, it was in 2017, and it was also funded from Kickstarter. And this is only the third model into their company's production, so they're still a fairly young company, and it's not bad what they're doing for sure. Let's take a look at what's inside. Just a heads up, this is not a brand new watch. I got it from a seller online who worn it around, but nothing, abusive or anything, so it should be in good condition. So here is the NATO strap right off the bat that would go well with the watch with the company's branding on the buckle, nicely brushed hardware. I would say it's decent quality from the looks of it. Nothing to complain there. Yeah, and the colorway would match pretty well with the watch, so we'll put it aside for now. We'll come back to it. So let's pull the watch roll out of the box. Yeah, so it has a little instruction inside. We'll come back to it. Pretty nice material here. It's like a canvas, a coarse canvas for the watch roll, and maybe I think well, it's not suede inside, it's more like a microfiber, I think, inside the watch roll, and you see that the company's logo on there. Pretty nicely done. I mean, they're a company that made leather watch rolls, but I think for the purpose of this watch, it is a diver's watch, so it's meant to be used as a tool watch. This does the job. I mean, it matches the whole, kind of the characteristics of the watch itself, so I have no issue with it, with the watch together. Well, before that, let's just get out of the other set of straps. This is a black tropical strap. Pretty soft, pretty supple. The material is decent. It hasn't been used. It has the buckle there in the plastic wrap. I mean, it's decent quality. Pretty nice. Yeah, and this will be good on a summer day when you just, want to be around the water and don't want the metal bracelet around the watch. Yeah, this is nice. I like the little perforation that they did there, so it's not sticky, and it's not really sticky to the skin. So pretty nice. Let's put that aside. Take a look at the watch together. Wow, this is actually really, really nice. This is better in person actually than was shown in the photo. So let's get the specifications out of the way first. This is a 40mm watch from side to side without the crown, and it is 48mm lug to lug. About 12.5 millimeters thick, so not too bad for an automatic watch, and I would say is on the thinner side of a traditional diver's watch. It's not bad at all. This one has a sapphire crystal, and it has AR coating on the outside as well, even though you can still see a bit of glare, but it is acceptable. It has a sapphire bezel insert, which is not too common. Most of the time they use stainless steel, aluminum, or more commonly today they use ceramic. So a full sapphire bezel is uncommon, especially for this price range. And let's see about the bezel action. It is 120 click unidirectional bezel. Oh wow, this is nice. It is super smooth. Wow, I'm quite impressed with this. It is solid. There's no play, no wiggle at all with the bezel action. Wow, this is nice. And let's take a look at the lume together. I'm gonna grab my little flashlight and let's take a look at the lume shot. Wow. Yeah, this is the C3 greenish lume here. I kind of wish that they did the BGW9, the blue loom, but with the fall patina that we're going for with the hour markers and the hands is not possible. I think the fall patina loom is only available in the green color, but still very nice. I mean, the hands, the hour hands and second hands are more of a brighter tint. They last longer than the hour markers and the bezel inserts, the markers there. But still, I'm going to do just another application there real quick. So you guys can see this one is like a torch. Wow. Very nice. Okay, I'm going to turn the light back on now. Alright, so now we're back in the daylight, so let's talk a bit more about the watch. This one is a diver's watch with a 200 meters water resistance rating, so of course it came with a screw down crown there. The action on it, I would say, is quite nice. I unscrewed it earlier, and I'm going to screw it down back in later for you guys to see, but we set the time with actually 2 pulls. So here's the thing about this watch. It came with 2 versions, one with date and one without. The one without date still has the phantom sort of date position on the crown, so you need to pull it twice to get to the time setting position. Right, so that's a bit of a an annoyance with this model without date. They didn't remove the date position, but they did get rid of the date well, I believe. So yeah, so that's the thing with this no date version. You don't have that sort of issue with the date version, of course. You set the date with the first position, but in this no date version, the first position of the crown does nothing. So what's inside of this watch is a Sellita CW200 high beat movement. It beats at 20,800 beats per hour, and it pretty much is a replica of the ETA2824, which is no longer sourceable by those micro brands. So there's 3 different colorways for this watch. There's the black and gray gradient version, which I think is the most traditional, the safest way for a dive watch. There's also the blue gradient and also a burgundy version. Alright guys, so now we're back with the watch now fitted onto the original tropical strap that came with the package. Now I would say the strap itself is very well made. As you can see, it's very reminiscent of the skin divers, the vintage ones out there, with the printed patterns on it and the perforation holes on both sides of the strap, which makes really perfect everyday wear in hot summer days, so your wrist doesn't get suffocated and hot for an extended period of wear. And you see that the strap actually isn't overall very thick, but that actually makes a perfect match for the watch itself, given the 12.5 millimeter thickness of the watch itself. So you can see the lugs actually tapers down and meet the straps really nicely, and it wears quite nicely on the wrist too. Let me just give you guys a quick try there on the wrist. So you can see it hugs the wrist beautifully, and actually I like the tropical strap even a bit more than the metal bracelet for some reason. Maybe given that the first 2 installments from Direnzo has always been on leather strap, so they're maybe more experienced with fitting watches with straps rather than metal bracelets, given that this is their first watch that came with the metal bracelet. So for them, maybe this is something that they're just more used to or they have more experiences with, but I'm perfectly happy with the leather strap, and I'm just eager to wear it pretty much every day in the summer. And one thing I like to point out is that, as you can see here, the leather strap actually doesn't come with the quick release pins at the back there, which can be a bit of an annoyance for some people, myself including, given that if you want to switch it to the NATO band, which I'm going to do just in a minute, you're going to have a hard time getting them off. You have to use the actual pin removal tools, which might risk scratching the case or something like that. So that's something maybe can be improved in the later watches that's going to be released from Direnzo in the future, but just a small note. And now let's switch the camera again and fit the watch with the NATO band. Alright guys, here's the watch on the original NATO strap. As you can see, it's black in color with sort of creamy off-white stitching down the middle, which really complements the sort of the old radium look of the hour markers and the dots on the bezel there. So it's a really cohesive look to the whole package, and the hardware is immaculate as well. As you can see, really nicely done brushing on the hardware with the Direnzo branding on the buckle there. So overall, this is nice if you want a more of a casual look with a pair of jeans, if you want on a summer day, just to pull off the more casual look of the watch. I think is fantastic. Alright guys, so the Direnzo DRZ-03 I'm holding in my hand right now is probably one of the most solidly built and the most budget-friendly Swiss-made automatic dive watches that I've seen in a while. Considering the market is filled with dive watches with the Seiko NH35 and the Miyota movements, nothing wrong with them per se, but if you're after a Swiss-made automatic dive watch for around $500 starting price, you can't go wrong with the DRZ-03 Eclipse right here. Now that is especially true if you're on a tighter budget and don't want to spend over $1,000 on a Oris Diver 65 or close to $5,000 on a Black Bay 55. Both are perfect watches by all means, but for a starting price of $499 and a retail price of $699, the value of the Direnzo DR3 just can't be beat. Now, just a few more things for Direnzo to consider for their future releases is that if they do another watch with a metal bracelet, they might want to spend a bit more time to finalize the bracelet and the clasp, especially around the closing there. As you can see, is not closing 100% down. And also, if they would consider adding the quick release option for the tropical straps, if they do ever include another one in their future releases. And a final point would be for the watches with a no date option, which seems to be their tradition now. If they can put in some work to remove the date wheel for the watch so that there's no phantom date position on the watch, that will just make this a perfect watch for everyday wear. Please leave a like for the video if you find the review helpful for you, and consider subscribing if you want more reviews like this. And feel free to comment below what watches you want me to review next. Again, this has been the Direnzo DR3 Eclipse, and I'm your host, Andy. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.